sign? That consigns to the greatest transfer of wealth in U.S. history, from one generation to the next. Completely saddling our kids and grandkids. Trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. In order to finance the debt, to provide tax cuts for billionaires and corporations that didn't even ask for them in many cases.
This is really rich, pardon the pun. So Newsom is going, oh, the big bill is running up our debt.
Bill O'Reilly delivered a ruthless televised takedown of Gavin Newsom, using a sharp shampoo metaphor that shredded the governor's ego and turned a political jab into a full-blown spectacle, with more twists than Newsom's hair gel routine. The exchange left him blinking like a stunned raccoon in headlights, as O'Reilly transformed a roast into a political BBQ, for which Newsom showed up completely unprepared.
The presidential campaign of 2028 is already underway. Did you know that? So Gavin Newsom, Governor of California, this guy is so perfect for me and for other reporters. It's just beyond belief. He's already campaigning. So he goes to South Carolina, something he would never do. Newsom will be drinking wine up in Napa Valley. South Carolina in July? No way. He goes there on Senator Lindsey Graham's birthday to pound Graham and to pound the big bill.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. It helps more than you think. Bill O'Reilly didn't just drag Gavin Newsom's name through the mud. He bulldozed it, tossed glitter on top, and blasted it in 4K for everyone to see. When the guy known for ranting like your angriest uncle at Thanksgiving manages to outshine California's most polished governor in a battle of wits, it's a bad sign. Newsom came armed with slicked back hair and canned talking points, but O'Reilly came armed with receipts and a sarcasm-loaded baseball. But
Governor of California, very busy, very, very busy. He's out of money for Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal is Medicaid, okay? So they're out of money, ran out of money, even though they tax you Californians up to here. Not any money. Why don't they have any money? Because, listen to this, illegal migrants are expected to receive this year alone $10 billion in health care costs from the state of California.
Let's be clear, this wasn't some polite political debate sprinkled with buzzwords like dialogue and discourse. It was an outroast, and Newsom strolled in thinking it was a wine tasting. O'Reilly went straight for the jugular, dismantling Newsom's polished resume with the precision of a veteran who's been at it longer than Newsom's favorite hair gel has been on shelves, shredding the same list of innovations, climate leadership, and feel-good slogans that sound better printed on a reusable Whole Foods bag than in a serious political record.
There's a clip I put in my notes. If you can pull this off, watch what Bill O'Reilly says on this whole thing, and then he ties Newsom in California at the end. Just watch this. Go ahead.
No, Johnson and Adams have no power whatsoever. None. They do what they're told to do. The real power lies in the state legislature. Now, in both Illinois and New York, state legislature gives the big middle finger to Homeland Security. Because blank you, maybe Anderson Cooper could articulate it a little more than I am by using some vernacular.
Wait for it.
But that's what's happening. And the Trump administration knows that these mayors, this is like the utility infield.
O'Reilly went full demolition mode, ripping into the homeless crisis not as a challenge to solve, but as a lifestyle California seemed to be promoting, complete with imaginary tent city brochures stamped with Newsom's face. He then resurrected the infamous French Laundry fiasco, that lavish maskless dinner where Newsom dined like a Roman emperor, while everyday Californians were stuck at home kneading sourdough and crying into it, 111 bilhões, e 111 milhões, e 111 mil, e 111 Riley dragged that scandal back into the spotlight like a reality TV contestant desperate for screen time, mocking Newsom for ordering Californians to stay home while he sipped organic Chardonnay with lobbyists who'd trade their souls for a tax break. It wasn't just a personal jab, it was calculated. Because Newsom's entire brand rests on being the cool dad of American politics, young, smooth, and but when cool dad gets caught breaking his own rules, he instantly morphs into the hypocrite who grounded you for staying out late, then went clubbing himself. What made the takedown sting even more was O'Reilly's delivery, not with dull stats, but with gleeful, almost artistic precision, sketching a portrait of a state that loves to call itself the future of America, while its present smells of burnt-out idealism and overpriced lattes.
But otherwise, Gavin Newsom plays to his progressive crew, and they still control California. They're slipping, but he still controls. Here's what I told my audience tonight on the No Spin News, which is our TV broadcast. You can get it on BillO'Reilly.com, and that's where we live.
Newsom tried to respond with that polished politician's tone, the one usually trotted out to explain why your rent doubled while your trash pickup got cut in half and forced a smile. Like a man painfully aware the cameras were still rolling, but O'Reilly had already torched the stage and rolled out receipts. California is bleeding residents as if it's handing out free one-way tickets to Texas. With Elon Musk, Oracle, and HP leading the exodus, and it wasn't just the sky-high taxes, which were about as charming as a parking ticket on Christmas morning. It was the crime waves. In Los Angeles and San Francisco, dramatic enough to warrant their own theme music. Meanwhile, Newsom was busy tweeting inspirational quotes like a bargain bin Tony Robbins, treating California less like a state and more like his personal influencer page.
There's 53 million, California's largest state. 10 million undocumented getting their health care paid for. So they're out of money in Medicare. So what Newsom is doing, he's taking $3 billion from another part of the California budget, already running record deficits out there, okay? And he's putting it into Medi-Cal because they're broke, because they're paying so many bills for the undocumented. Now, this is what you hear when Bernie Sanders says
Newsom's polished image may be all filtered photos and cheerful captions, but behind the curtain, it's wildfires, rolling blackouts, and a budget that looks like a toddler's first attempt at Excel. O'Reilly barely needed hyperbole, a smirk, and the headlines. He torched California's education system too, noting the irony of a state that brags about being progressive while its students struggle with basic reading skills. Billions spent, test scores tanking. It's like buying a Lamborghini only to find the engine runs on tears. Even those who disagreed with him had to admit the facts buried in his sarcasm carried weight. His metaphors were ruthless, comparing Newsom's climate policies to stopping a forest fire with scented candles, a jab that stung even harder as environmentalists tried to justify banning gas stoves while wildfires burned, like they were auditioning for the next apocalypse movie.
Gavin Newsom suing Fox News. This is just bogus, and I'll just explain why. So the governor is going to run for president in 2028. There's no doubt about it. And Kamala Harris will run for governor in 2 years, 26. Those things will happen. So Newsom is trying to rally all of the Democrats behind him. And he knows that many of them, perhaps most, probably most, hate Fox News. So there was a phone call made. I guess Newsom called Trump. But I don't even know because I haven't seen a transcript or anything.
You know you're in trouble when your opponent compares your governance to performance art and people actually nod along. And that's exactly what O'Reilly did, peeling back Newsom's sleek exterior to expose a bureaucratic circus tent flapping in the wind. The most devastating blow wasn't loud or theatrical, but the silence that hangs after someone points out your pants are on fire and you insist it's just a fashion statement. If California is the prototype, O'Reilly quipped, then maybe America deserves a refund on the beta test. He wasn't just criticizing a politician, he was dismantling a brand, casting Newsom as the Tesla of politics, shiny, overpriced, and prone to catching fire at the worst possible moment. And there was O'Reilly, paperwork in hand, ready with the recall form. Some called it harsh, others called it fair, but no one called it boring, because in one blistering monologue he stripped away the hashtags and photo ops, forcing the spotlight onto a record that looked far more patchy than progressive.
To get out of control. And I'm not an irresponsible guy, I'm not an ideologue. I believe he wanted them to get out of control so that would provoke President Trump into doing something that Newsom could use against Mr. Trump. And let me back it up. So when your police chief in Los Angeles says we're overwhelmed, which he did on the first night of the riots, our police officers are in danger, we can't protect property, and the ICE agents are in danger as well.
It wasn't an ambush so much as a reckoning the moment when the Emperor's wardrobe slipped from bespoke to bargain bin. Halloween costume. O'Reilly came out swinging, mic in one hand and a binder of facts in the other. While Newsom's Hollywood polished brand suddenly looked paper. Shiny sound bites and a moisturized grin can only carry so far. And O'Reilly shredded that image with a brutal suggestion, maybe just hand Teslas to the homeless so they'd at least have mobile shelters and, who knows, maybe the tech bros would finally come back. Instead, California's business exodus played out like a Netflix true crime series, with Tesla bolting to Texas before Newsom could say equity, and Oracle and Hewlett-Packard smashing the escape button right after.
Waters got the timeline wrong about the phone call, according to Newsom. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen the transcripts. I don't like that. And then John Roberts, another Fox News guy, he called Newsom a liar or something like, or Waters called him a liar, and they called him names and they disparaged him. So Newsom said he was defamed. Number one, he's a public figure, so that's not going to fly anywhere. Number two, you sue him for $787.
And it wasn't just corporations sprinting for the exit. Hundreds of thousands of Californians packed their U-Hauls and turned Newsom's California dream into a reverse gold rush powered by regrets, solar panels, and moving boxes. For a man who preaches inclusion, he sure seems skilled at inspiring departures. Then came the wildfires, with the state lighting up each year like a Guy Fawkes party run by arsonists. Newsom delivers sweeping speeches, blames climate change, and somehow skips the basics like clearing forest floors or managing controlled burns. Meanwhile, as businesses board up and security guards in downtown LA practice parkour just to survive, his fixes look more like performance art murals and yoga in the park. Because nothing says crime prevention quite like a spray-painted dove of peace.
So I, down the road, could see a DeSantis versus Newsom presidential race. I don't think it's going to happen in 24, but you couldn't get more opposite guys, which is actually good in a democracy. My take is that Biden has caused immense pain for millions and millions of people by his irresponsible open border policy, which is the worst public policy decision.
And his takedown of Gavin Newsom proved it, swinging harder than ever, with receipts instead of cheap shots. Was it personal? Maybe. Was it irrelevant? Not a chance. The sting came from the timing. Just as Newsom was polishing his California brand and soft-launching a 2028 presidential run like a TikTok influencer dropping cryptic hints, O'Reilly lobbed a rhetorical grenade straight into the photo apt America noticed. Twitter X lit up like a California wildfire, with reactions spilling well beyond partisan cheerleading. Independents, moderate Democrats, and even a few MSNBC regulars were left blinking in awkward silence, while one CNN anchor actually stuttered mid-sentence, possibly the first time in history CNN paused before spinning a story. That's when you know it cut.
Now you talk about radical left. This is outrageous. This is Gavin Newsom. And this is Gavin Newsom's funeral right here, what I'm going to tell you about. So a bill, 665, signed into law by Newsom, says that children in California 12 years of age or older, all right, can leave their parents and check themselves into a residential shelter on their own. Essentially run away. And the state will allow it and support the children in the residential shelter.
Newsom's press team scrambled like someone had just unplugged their ring light, rushing out a non-denial denial padded with vague platitudes about leadership and long-term vision. Translation: they had nothing, not even a slick TikTok rebuttal. And that silence screamed louder than any soundbite, because for once, Gavin couldn't pivot to polished talking points or blame it all on extremists. What showed through instead wasn't the image of progressive perfection, but a man practiced at looking busy while everything burned behind him. And if he can't withstand a fact check from one aging anchor with nothing to lose, how does he expect to survive a national campaign, federal scrutiny, and the full contact brawl of a presidential run? This wasn't just a roast, it was a stress test. And the foundation shook.
Out there.
Fair point.
That would be none. No, look, Newsom, anybody clear thinking, fair, who believes that Gavin Newsom is telling the truth, what are you going to do? I mean, he is an opportunist, totally incompetent, will say and do anything to get political power, and that's what is on display. This is a big loss for Newsom. I told it to Sean Hannity on his radio program.
This wasn't a random rant, it was years of pent-up frustration served as a gourmet roast. A sharp reminder that good hair and buzzwords can't patch deficits or clean up crime. Maybe, just maybe, the guy who shines on late-night TV isn't the one you want handling billion-dollar decisions. So where are we now? With Newsom's camp frantically smearing PR aloe vera on third-degree burns, while O'Reilly strolls away, grinning, fueled by the kind of satisfaction only seasoned savagery delivers. And the fallout. Far from finished. If this was only the trailer for 2028, brace for a season loaded with drama, double takes, and plenty of political whiplash. O'Reilly will be there too, pen in hand, scripting the next chapter of America's most uncomfortable roast series, because when egos this oversized collide, the tremors aren't just geological, they're political.
You want to split? State of California goes, come on, we'll give you a place to live, pay all your bills, take care of you, okay. I mean, this is beyond anything I've ever seen. So remember, in Virginia, you had Governor Youngkin won that race because Loudoun County was basically telling the people there, schools are going to run your kids, not you. Schools are going to tell your kids what to do, and you can't do anything as a parent about it. Virginia went, whoa.
Newsom's press team scrambled like someone had just unplugged their ring light, rushing out a non-denial denial padded with vague platitudes about leadership and long-term vision. Translation: they had nothing, not even a slick TikTok rebuttal. And that silence screamed louder than any soundbite, because for once, Gavin couldn't pivot to polished talking points or blame it all on extremists. What showed through instead wasn't the image of progressive perfection, but a man practiced at looking busy while everything burned behind him. And if he can't withstand a fact check from one aging anchor with nothing to lose, how does he expect to survive a national campaign, federal scrutiny, and the full contact brawl of a presidential run? This wasn't just a roast, it was a stress test. And the